If you want to go out into your garden and eat fresh peppers, tomatoes, cucumbers, and other things right off the plant come August and September, that starts right now. Hi, I'm Amanda and welcome back to the Provident Gardener. Today I am really excited because the gardening season is officially starting for me. That's right, we're talking all about planning out your garden. It may be freezing outside and there may be a chance of snow, but success for harvest time starts right now with planning. I'm going to talk about how I decide what to grow, where it goes, and why I grow what I grow in the first place. So if you've ever gotten excited about gardening season, but then gotten overwhelmed when it actually goes time to plant because you don't know what to do, this video might be just what you need. Okay, so let's jump right into it. I'm going to start with a pencil, a ruler, and some poster board. And we are just going to map out my garden here. I'm going to try to do it slightly to scale. It's not good. This isn't about being perfect. It's just about doing something to get started. You know, you may be wondering why. Why even take the time to plan out your garden? And a lot of it has to do with making it easier for you in the long run. You know the phrase, measure twice, cut once. Planning your garden helps you use your space more wisely, grow food you will actually use, and in the end, it's going to save you time, effort, and money. And honestly, when it comes time to plant, having all of this already done just makes it, the whole process, more enjoyable. So now let's speed this process up a little bit. Okay, it took a minute, but I have the whole garden laid out on this poster board here. And so now it'll be really easy for me to just go in and plan what I want to plant and where I want to plant it. Now, if you're familiar with my garden from some of my garden tours, you'll notice these boxes down here. Those don't exist. This is me manifesting and putting it out there that hopefully my wonderful husband will build me a few more boxes this year. Pretty please. You can never have too much garden space, right? Now for me, the next step is a garden journal. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. I just use a notebook, but I use this to plan out what I'm going to plant. And this journal is for more than just the planning stage. I will use something like this throughout the whole season to make notes, to say where I actually planted things, to go in, because being the person I am, I end up just throwing in random plants at the last minute all over the place, but this allows me to track it. And if there are things that didn't go well, I can keep that in here and then I can go back and look on it year after year. But now with a garden journal, it's important to ask yourself, why am I growing a garden this year? Maybe it's because you just want something that is beautiful and peaceful for you to enjoy. Maybe you just want to have the produce to eat and harvest from your garden during harvest season. Or maybe you want to grow food and preserve it for you and your family to eat all year long. For us, it's a little bit of everything. I love the beauty of the flowers. We love snacking right out of the garden, and we love preserving. One of our biggest things that we do is we make salsa. And so for us, tomatoes and peppers and onions are really important crops. Those are always at the top of our list, and they get priority when it comes to planning. But knowing your why behind planting a garden helps in your planning, and it helps you decide what deserves space in your precious garden. So now this is where the seed boxes come out and the journal, and I start writing down everything I would like to plant in my garden. If you are intrigued by this amazing seed storage system, go check out this video. I'll put the card in the corner, all about how I did it and where you can find these cases. So let's get to work. This is a little bit of a tedious, time-intensive process because you're literally going through and looking at all of your seeds. I will just walk you through what I do with one kind of seed. Let's do our hot peppers. And so I will just go through here and I'm going to do a green pin for peppers. So first up, I'm seeing cayenne, and those we will do. Another one we will definitely grow are serranos. We will do jalapenos. I have a few different varieties of jalapeno, so we'll see. I have grown habanero before. I don't care for the heat, but I think unless my husband insists, which I don't think he will, these are going to be a no this year. Anaheim, absolutely. I will probably do this Craig's Grande jalapeno again, but so these are supposed to be a bigger jalapeno, but something I want to watch for this year is they actually didn't get that big. There were a lot of them, but they didn't get that big. So I don't know if it's actually worth it or any better than just a regular jalapeno. I will also do some of these early jalapenos. And then I have my orange spice and lemon spice jalapeno. These lemon spice jalapenos, both of them did really well, but these were so prolific and produced so well for us. Then we have our Hungarian hot wax. These are always really, sorry, I'm writing and talking at the same time. Not always a good idea for me. These are always good producers for us. That's more Serrano. These are called Red Rocket. It's a type of cayenne. I think I will do some this year. My cayenne plants this last year kind of blended together and I couldn't remember what was what. So I need to keep better track of which plant is which I feel like produces better, has better peppers. This is one that I was really excited to try, and it's really cool. It's called the Sugar Rush Peach. I do feel like it has some peachy undertones. For me, it was just too spicy. It did well, it produced well, but I just didn't love it. I didn't feel like it added anything to the flavor of our salsa that was significant. So I think we'll just stick with the tried and true that I know we like. So that is not going on the list. We've just got some other jalapenos in here. Oh, I didn't get to plant this last year. This is a Greek peppercini, and in years past it has produced really well, and I really like it. To me, it reminds me of those little peppers you get in the salads at Olive Garden, and they're kind of hot, but to me, still fun to eat. So I actually need to find these. Why wasn't this? See, I remember I put my empty seed packets in here. Didn't do it with this one. I got to find some of those. We'll put pepperoncinis on here. Oh, I need to decide on poblano. These seeds Kylene gave me last year because I started the peppers for both of us, and they are very old. They are 13 years old. I could not get them to germinate. So I also need to find some poblano peppers. That's another good thing about doing it this way because, like I said, I put all my empty seed packets in here. That's in the video about these containers so that I know what I need to look at and see about reordering. Well, I have two here that for whatever reason I didn't. So I also am able to see ahead of time what seeds I need before I go to plant and start my seeds, and I'm like, oh no, I forgot to order these seeds. So that was all of the hot peppers. I will go through the rest of this and just make a nice giant list of everything we want to plant. See you back in a few minutes. Okay, it took a minute, but I just finished going through all my seeds and making a list of everything I would like to fit in the garden this year. It's a lot. This is like the first draft, the initial run through. Next, I'm gonna go through and plan out roughly where everything is gonna go. Plan in pencil. That way you can erase. I always desire to plant more than I can, but then putting it on the poster in the beds helps me to realize, okay, here's what I actually can fit. Here's what I can't. Maybe I could actually squeeze a little more in here. And that helps me narrow it down to what is really most important to us in our garden. One thing that I have noticed in the past when I don't plan is I go to start my seeds because I start them indoors and I'm looking through these packets and I'm like, oh, I want to start that one and that one. And ooh, that looks fun and that looks fun. But as I went through these seed packets, I was able to really start to plan better so that I don't plant things that I really don't want. For example, these lemon cucumbers. I always get excited and I'm like, ooh, it's a different shape, it's a different color, that would be fun. But then every year I'm reminded as they're growing and producing and just sitting there on the vine, I'm reminded we don't actually like these really. We don't actually eat them. The same goes for Swiss chard. Really easy to grow and prolific and pretty, but we just didn't eat it last year. So I don't know that I'm gonna do Swiss chard again. Another one was the Mexican sour gherkins. If you watched my garden tours this year, you kind of saw how excited I was about them. And yes, I finally grew them and they produced well and I ate them, but I just didn't really like them, which made me kind of sad. They were cute and they were fun. These like little cucumbers that you just pop in your mouth. I don't think I'm gonna do it this year, which makes me a little bit sad, but also our space is valuable. We can't just put anything out there. Okay, now it's time to take this and turn it into this. Now, this is a very rough plan of where I'm going to put all of my plants. And guess what? I quickly ran out of room. As you can see, my cut flower bed is still pretty empty, still working on exactly which ones I want to do this year. And then another important thing to consider when planning out your garden like this is your rotation between spring crops and summer crops. So mostly on here, I've mapped out the summer crops because those are our big, important crops that we do. But I can fit some spring crops in here before like the tomatoes and the peppers and the flowers and the squash are ready to go in. And then when it's time to put those in, we'll take the spring crops out. The same thing can happen again in fall with those spring or cool weather crops. As these summer ones are dying off, we'll put in more of the cool weather crops. So as I was going through my season, doing all the planning, I was reminded of some crops that I just don't care about anymore and don't want to do. I also saw or noticed a lot of seeds that I still need to get. Either I've run out of them or I'm trying something new this year and I still need to buy those seeds. Now, if you are still looking for seeds or building up your seed collection, we have a few places that we really like to get seeds. One is Johnny's Selected Seeds. And of course, you know, we love just looking through the catalog. And another is Rare Seeds or Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds. And then Survival Garden Seeds puts together these great collections of seeds. So this Homesteader one comes with 50 heirloom seed packets. The Home Garden comes with 30 heirloom seed packets. They also have a flower collection. They have this medicinal herb collection. In these collections, they put a variety of seeds from cool weather to warmer weather crops, and they're all heirloom seeds. So it's a great way to start your collection or start your garden. If you're interested, I will put our link and code down in the description so that you can get 10% off any of these collections that you want to buy from Survival Garden Seeds. Now, the reason we heavily push heirloom seeds is because you can save the seeds from them. Now, hybrid, there are always some hybrid seeds that we just love, and so we'll keep buying them again and again. Some of those for me are the Sun Sugar cherry tomato. That is my absolute favorite cherry tomato for just snacking on, and my kids love it too. Others are in peppers. These are all sweet peppers, but the Carmen pepper, one of the sweetest peppers I have ever tasted. It is so delicious. And then our lunchbox peppers. We do red, yellow, and orange lunchbox peppers. So sweet. The kids love them. Their friends come over and they're just picking peppers off of the plants and eating them, which I love. I will always buy those hybrid seeds because they're important to me and my family. Another thing to consider when planning your garden is preserving. Think about preserving now, not August, September, October. If you want to make salsa, then you need to think now about, okay, I need to plant tomatoes. I need to plant peppers, onions. So whatever you are wanting to preserve, it's important to account for that now so you're prepared when the time comes. Sometimes I will sit and look through some of my preserving books, this canning book, this freezing book, for ideas of new things I may want to try. And that way I can plan ahead of time if I want to preserve anything new. Thank you so much for joining me here on the Provident Gardener today. I am so excited that I got my garden planning started, and I hope you are excited to start yours too. It doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to be perfect. This is far from perfect, and I guarantee you it will change. But, well, for one, that's why we do it in pencil. But your garden planning does need to be intentional. This work that I did today will make things easier for me when I go to start my seeds, when I go to plant, everything, because I started with planning. Let me know if you have started planning your garden yet. And what are you excited about this year that you hope is a success in your garden? And as always, don't be afraid to get a little dirt under your fingernails so you can turn that dirt into dinner.